Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We've got three brand new decks for you today. High win rate, infinite decks already from three absolutely phenomenal players. That's what we do here on this channel. We bring you the best decks every single weekday and every Sunday, at least three new decks every single day. Bundle guides, giveaways, pro tips, everything you need for your Marvel Snap journey. We even cover news and patches. Help us out by hitting that sub button, leaving a comment, ringing a bell. Help us with the YouTube algorithm. We'd really, really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 7,000 before the end of the year. We're doing really great things on this channel, and we want to reach more people so we can help more people. If you're willing to help us do that, we'd greatly appreciate it. We were going to do a new giveaway today. I got to talk to Super Tech God. We're doing the giveaway in conjunction with him before I launch it. So that will be in tomorrow's video. There will be two chances to win starting in tomorrow's video. So make sure you check that out. If you are looking for a free season pass or any other Marvel Snap goodies, check the link in the description to this video. I maintain with a friend Banshee a giveaway sheet where we just keep track of every giveaway and all of Marvel Snap that we can find so that you can hopefully find some great creators and get some free stuff in the process. We believe in deck credits and we think you should know what you're in for today. So we're going to begin with questions of the day. Then we're going to look at Den's Twitter. Den's Twitter is twitter.com/den_ccg. Sorry, I didn't type it. Then we've got bundle reviews. We are ringing in your ears, and then we're going to look at the shop exclusive bundles. There are two bundles you can only get in the Newer shop. Then we've got a deck from Evazord. Evazord is a top 10 player in the world at the end of basically every season. Twitch.tv/Evazord. We've got a news update. A whole bunch of news came out. Then we've got a deck from Ratsou as he has made Kitty Pride work and got infinite. Finally, we'll end with a look at my shop for the day, as we always do. Questions of the day. Our first question's from AfroMH, who has been trying Quicksilver instead of America Chavez. And hey, don't do that. That's really bad for you. What America Chavez has done is so that what America Chavez's use is that for turns 1 through 5, you're far more likely each turn cumulatively to draw a specific card. So if you wanted Zabu specifically on turn 2 or 3, America Chavez means you can't draw Zabu on 6. You know what you're drawing 6. You're more likely to draw it sooner, right? If you wanted to make sure that you were seeing Wong on 4, same concept for America Chavez. Quicksilver does the opposite. Quicksilver takes up one of your draw spots early. That's one less draw that you have because Quicksilver isn't an extra draw. It takes up one of your draw steps. So that's one less draw you have to see something on curve. Were there a card that you wanted to play only on turn 6 and you didn't want to draw any sooner no matter what, or only and you like never wanted in your opening hand, Quicksilver would be really good for that. That doesn't exist in Snap. What we had was a bunch of cards that really, really benefited from being seen and played early. That's why you basically never saw a Loki deck without America Chavez, because in Loki, what America Chavez was doing was saying, okay, I'm now X% more likely to see Loki by turn 4 or 5 when I can play him. And you never want Loki. Well, you don't never want Loki on 6, but you mostly don't want Loki on 6 if you want to play their cards. Ooh. Corey W wants to use Viper to send Ghost over, so Eliath always works. Eliath is only 2 power. If you do that, you're probably gonna lose. You're basically um you're spending 2 energy to give them 2 power, and then you're spending your last turn on 2 power. If they have anywhere else to play, you're dead meat. The way to play Eliath right now, and he got me earlier because honestly, I just assumed we're not going to be seeing a lot of him, is you want to be playing a lot of high power stuff so that you can guarantee yourself to be ahead in 2 lanes. If you can guarantee yourself to be ahead in 2 lanes, then Eliath works just the same way he always did, just with 1 less power. So like if they move a Jeff over or they have even just a base multiple man or whatever, you can still get beat. That said, it's a cool idea. Like I love the creativity of sending Viper over so Eliath works, but it's generally you're at +1 energy for your first 2 turns if you're lucky enough to draw them then, and then you still like you're passing up a bunch of turns to gain a bunch of stats with cards like Nebula or Medusa or Jeff or something that could help you make your Alioth work without the combo. So don't do that. Dwight Kid wants to know how often I use homebrews versus borrowed decks. So whenever a new card comes out, I do a video. whenever a new patch comes out, I do a video. All the decks in those videos, or most of them, are my homebrews. I take some other stuff from some Marvel Snap Zone creators, right? But most of them are mine. So I tend to start there with anything new. As I go, I do research for these videos, right? I don't have a choice. I come up with a bunch of decks. I see what other people are doing, what I'm doing works and doesn't work, and I tend to traditionally take other people's decks, and then I end up changing one or two cards almost always. I tend to think like, okay, so this and that fit my play style better. I see why this and that are there. There are very few players who that isn't the case with. Like changing cards in Lambi decks, I've found to be a fool's errand as a general rule. W almost always has one swing spot that he tells you what it is. You can change that, but if you change anything else, the deck starts to feel fundamentally different and broken. But most people, you can if you've done this enough, you can figure out what those swing spots are and change them. So I mostly play other people's decks with my own flair on them, except for I guess like in some weeks, twice a week, because Blob will come out and I will play my Blob brews for a while to get a feel for the card, and then because I'm usually infinite in the first week, although I don't know if I'll have time this week. I will then look for other brews and mess around with those and like get a good feel for how good the card is. A lot of why I play the game at this point isn't for my own personal enjoyment. Um, I play so I can be better informed for what I do here. Like I do enjoy the game. Not saying I don't. It's super fun for me. But like the way I'm having fun is fairly meticulous in that I've also got a job to do. People trust me, people listen to me, some people buy things for me, they spend their hard-earned money on things I recommend. So I have to like take that responsibility seriously. So like very rarely am I just playing something. Like a lot of people really struggled with yesterday's Phoenix decks, but I played them all day. Right? Like those weren't like theories. Those decks worked. Like I know they worked because they worked for me and they worked for safety, right? So that doesn't mean they're for everyone's playstyle, but they worked. So like while I was playing my own brews, I wouldn't present unproven brews here without like heavy disclaimers that these are unproven brews and people needed to know that in advance. All right, if you'd like a question read out in tomorrow's video, please leave it in the comments. We could use some more questions. We probably have enough for 2 or 3 more days, but we're looking to do this regularly, so leave us some more questions. Our friend, the counter guy, made this meme, and this feels like what all of my comments are right now. I bought this Wolverine, and it feels like my comments are just like this longing for old America Chavez. I get it. I really do. Um, if you were a low series player playing against high series players, the lack of America Chavez is better for you. I explained this yesterday, but I think it's an important enough point to explain again. America Chavez, what she fundamentally did was reduce variance, and if the best players have the best decks and their variance is reduced, you have less a chance of winning. You just do. So if that's the case, then removing Chavez increases the variance in those matchups, and the increased variance when you are not favored is to your benefit. So like America getting removed is like significant. The player it's worst for is Lambi, and it's better as you go down the ranking. All right, this is the last chance deck from the thumbnail. This is made by Den. It 72% in 190 games, which is a real sample. It's awesome. The Ravonna buff really matters here because Iron Man and Mystique really want something of decent power to copy, and you're running cards like Black Widow here, and that doesn't really help. You don't get the power to copy in these cases. I was building this deck basically forever. Longtime viewers will know I had it with Loki and Collector in the two swing spots for a long time. I've had like a million versions of this that I've just been testing. Um, Den broke it, and what he fundamentally broke it with was Ms. Marvel, because Ms. Marvel gives you 5 to double with Iron Man, and if you can win one lane with Darkhawk, doubling another with Iron, doubling 5 to 10, and then having like just a Ravonna there, now you're at 16, right? A Ravonna and a Rock Slide, and now you're at 21, 22, excuse me. So like all these little changes really, really win you games with this deck. Meanwhile, the ability to double things and make them super cheap with Moon Girl is just straight up brilliant. We talked about this when Den was first building this last week because he was building double She-Hulk decks and found that the She-Hulk portion wasn't necessary. What kept winning games was Quinjet with Moon Girl. So if you have Quinjet and Moon Girl, and then you have either Zabu or Ravonna. Now you've got just silly cheap extra Darkhawks, extra Ms. Marvels, extra Iron Men, and so on, or extra Mystiques, and all of those are completely backbreaking and game winning. The reason for last chance for this deck is I don't think this deck exists next week at this time. The Blob comes out next Tuesday. Blob is 6/4, Series 5. On reveal, merge your deck into this and gain its total power. Ongoing can't be moved. The can't be moved doesn't matter. But Darkhawk is 4/0 and it gets power for each card in the opponent's deck. Don't think this deck works without Darkhawk. If you move Darkhawk and Rockslide and Korg, I don't think this is a very good deck. I don't think that anything else necessarily gives it the power it really, really needs to push to compete at the highest levels. And the Blob says your Darkhawk is 0 power. You can get your Darkhawk to like 6 power on the last turn after Blob if you don't have priority, and then you play Rockslide and Korg, and that's really, really just not worth it. So the Blob is about a week from fundamentally changing the meta because Darkhawk is the best thing for most of us to do. If you're extremely high level, the answer is probably still Loki, but Loki requires a level of match reading that the data says most players do not have. Whereas Darkhawk is a extremely high win percentage deck, 72% in 190 games is silly high. You have a week to completely rock face with this deck, or a little less than a week to completely rock face with this deck, but it's going away because the Blob will be the new hotness. And some people think he won't be good, but let's assume we have 3 cards left in our deck that are all 3. Blob is now a 6/13. A 6/13 is the best on rate 6 you can get without any extra shenanigans, right? That's one more than Magneto. You need to do work to get Hulk that high. Uh, Evolved Hulk, right? Like Evolved Hulk with 1, fine, you got him that high. But if now, like, okay, we have an extra a couple decent sized things, we build around the Blob, right? So if we have 1 6 power thing and 2 3s, now we're adding 12 power, and he's a 6/16. He's now Destroyer without extra work, right? There's just this card is going to be very, very, very powerful. And even if it's not for at least the first 2 weeks, people are going to try and make it very powerful because you get a free snap condition when you see you're playing in Starhawk. If you have Blob in hand, you see you're playing in Starhawk, you know they're probably going to try and win a lane with that Darkhawk. And then you play Blob, and it doesn't matter anymore. Cool. So this is why this is your last chance deck. So let's keep going. Replacements for cards. Iron Lad can kind of be whatever from Jeff to Shang, but I'd start with Absorbing Man. You need Darkhawk and Zabu, which is why I don't think this deck works in week. Ravonna is good, but another good card can replace it just fine. It's just an extra reducer. Quinjet is more important than Ravonna here. You'll want to cut Iron Man if you don't have Ravonna, and I'd run Shadow King and Absorbing Man. And then, again, if we're looking above them, we're looking at like Jeff and Shang. Ms. Marvel is great, but if she needs to go, it's either Doom or Super Skrull. That's my traditional change for Ms. Marvel. All good? Glad. So, reminder, this only exists until Tuesday. It's got a crazy high win rate. It's got the sample size to prove that this is somewhat sustainable. If you're looking to hit infinite, you've got a clear snap condition of either Quinjet with Moon Girl or Zabu with the other combo pieces, and you should be fine. Also, Ravonna with the combo bread combo pieces is pretty damn good. Like if you have Ravonna, Iron Man, and Mystique, you're probably gonna win that game. If you have Zabu, Rockslide, and Darkhawk, you're probably gonna win that game. If you have Quinjet and Moon Girl, there's so many things to copy. You guessed it, you're probably gonna win. The snap conditions here are through the roof powerful. If you would like to get Infinity fast, this is my suggested deck, bar none. Oh, by the way, people are gonna ask. Just let's get this out of the way before we go further with the exact turn by turn. We haven't talked about Sebastian Shaw decks. His weekend missions kick off tomorrow. So we're just going to do 3 Sebastian Shaw decks tomorrow. Cool? Just so you're aware, we're doing 3 Sebastian Shaw decks tomorrow with the giveaway. Okay, turn 1 is Korg or Quinjet, depends what else is in hand. If you have Moon Girl, please play Quinjet. Turn 2 is Zabu or Ravonna. Look at the rest of your hand to figure out which. You have Iron Lad, for example. Suddenly Zabu is more important. And you traditionally don't especially want to play the Ravonna cards earlier, although you can go turn 4 Iron Man into turn 5 Mystique and something else just fine. Like turn 5 Mystique and Darkhawk is fairly backbreaking if you know your opponent's not running tech. One cost Widow is also really nice on turn 4. So there's like upside to the Ravona plays. It's just Zabu is nuts. You can go Ravona on 2 into Zabu and Widow on 3. That works real well. If not, Rock Slide on 3. If you have Zabu, Iron Lad is also great on 3. I very rarely want a Moon Girl on 3, but it happens. Moon Girl is almost always the play on 4, and she's a stellar play on 4, especially if you have Quinjet. Turn 5 is Drop Wide and Save Darkhawk. I don't Moon Girl, by the way, if I don't have Quinjet. Usually, I'd rather start to play other cards and then Moon Girl on 5. Again, this is where America Chavez's loss is really felt. She would be in this deck, no doubt. So drop Wide, but save Darkhawk, and then you want to save Darkhawk because 2 different kinds of hate kill Darkhawk. Both Shang-Chi and ongoing hate will ruin Darkhawk's life. So you save him till the last turn where possible. You drop Wide and include Darkhawk on turn 6. Mystique can copy Iron Man, Darkhawk, or Ms. Marvel, so count up your actual energy to make sure that the last thing you play on turn 5 can be copied by Mystique if that's what you want to do. Iron Man is often the most expensive thing around for this, but c'est la vie. You put out so much power, it doesn't super matter, and you're putting out so much power late that your opponents can't necessarily do anything. All right, quick variant talk. I threw a bunch of hips in this. Iron hip, Lad hip, Ms. Marvel hip, Ravona hip, Zabu hip, Widow hip, and Korg hip. We got 7. It's lovely. Merry Christmas, rock, paper, scissors slide, wrapping presents. Quinjet with the lovely little propellers. I threw the Ms. Marvel Mystique in because Ms. Marvel is in the deck, and then this is the Twitch Drop Moon Girl and a random Darkhawk I have that I like. It's a pretty deck. I like it a lot. All right, the Ring in Your Ears bundle is great value. It is $70 for well above average value. Basically, for $100, you would get 8,000 gold most of the time. Then you wouldn't get the avatar, and you wouldn't get the credits, and you wouldn't get the boosters. So this is obviously an upgrade, a no-brainer buy, right? Not so fast. Right now in your shop, if you haven't bought a $100 bundle yet, for $100, you actually get 1,600 gold. For $50, you get double the normal amount. That is significantly better value than this. It's better value than this reasonably cool Black Bolt variant. It's better value than 500 credits by an awful lot. So if you have not spent all your double gold stuff, that's better value than this. If you have spent your double gold stuff and you want more gold, A, you wailing out, big props. But B, this is great value compared to what's normally around. Cool. Also, before you spend, make sure your responsibilities are taken care of. Thank you. All right, next up we have this bundle. It is what is it? $15 for either Luke Cage hip or Sarah hip. The Luke Cage hip comes with 2,000 credits and 600 gold. The Sarah hip comes with 800 credits and 1,500. Right away, you'll note the big difference is the gold. The Sarah one's gold is worth more than the Luke Cage one's credits. All good? This is true especially if you save the gold for the high value bundles coming. Particularly the sugar and spice bundle is coming, and it is the best value bundle. I don't want to say ever, but I think it might be ever, where it's giving us like 6,000 plus tokens and like 7,000 credits, which is extraordinarily rare. So you want extra gold, and this will help you get there. You can only get this on the Nuverse shop. Is it an amazing deal? No, but it's a good deal. I personally also really love Dan Hip variants. They're my son's favorite, so he warmed me to them. And I have this Sarah with a gold border. I bought the Luke Cage one personally because I don't know, $15 for the Luke Cage variant and some credits seemed perfectly fine to me. Should you buy this? Meh. If you like the variants, I think it's worth it, but I don't think it's like a must buy or anything. The reason for this bundle, by the way, is that the Hip album is in Snap. Please, 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 unless you already well out, do not start buying stuff just for albums. It tends to not be worth it. They are gouging the crap out of these. It's like $15 to get an extra like shot at this, so it's like $60 every new thing you open. $60 for everything you think you open is really expensive. If you happen to be close or happen to really want these variants, then I think it's a good buy. If you are early Series 3 and you would like access to Sarah or Luke Cage, Sarah in particular, Luke was just nerfed, but if you would like access to Sarah, then this is an especially good deal. Next up, we have Evazord's Black Knight Annihilus. I didn't think this deck was going to work, and I got like 3 games in with it, and I was like, ooh, this works better than I thought. This is another one that really misses America, just by the way. You've got 2 packages here. So the Annihilus package, we talked about this in last week's Snap Judgments, by the way. It's on Marvel Snap Zone's YouTube. We ranked all the top packages in Snap. When you play Annihilus, you assume Hood and Sentry. So if you see Hood, you should be going, okay, are you bouncing? Or are you Annihilusing? Or are you both? Same thing for if you see Sentry. You go, okay, now you're an Annihilus tech. I should expect Hood also. They could be running 7 other cards that go with the package, but they're definitely, if they have them, running at least those. You also have a little Black Knight package. That's basically Black Knight, Infinite, Blade, Sif, and Ghost Rider. Those 5 fundamentally always go together in a package. The same way that the Hood Sentry one does. Now, the Black Knight package as of last week was firmly mid, and it is now quite freaking good. That's literally all there is to it. The Shard now is ongoing, cannot have its strength reduced or be destroyed. So like it's Shang proof, it can jump into Death's domain just fine. It can't get Shadow Kinged. Like it's just a super powerful card. It works really 90% of the time here with Infinite. However, if Blade is already out, you can spend your last turn going and Zabu is out. I guess you don't really get a benefit from the Blade at that point, but you can spend your last turn doing Sif and Ghost Rider together, which I guess is a thing. It could hit Sentry or it could hit Infinite or whatever. You'd much rather do those 2 separately so you get the Shard that you could play also. But if you don't have Annihilus in hand and you don't have Infinite in hand and you have Black Knight out, you can feel free to either Blade or Sif your Sentry, get a 4/10 that can't be destroyed. Seems like it's a decent card. And then you can still bring back Sentry, including in the right lane later with Ghost Rider. Get that 10 power, and if that fills the lane, you don't have to deal with the demon. If you want it to not fill the lane, you'd like to play Annihilus on 6, for example, do that as well. That's basically the deck, right? Mobius is here because Loki's still a freaking card, and Loki is obnoxious, and Shadow King is here because, well, everyone's playing Surfer Sebastian Shaw nonsense, and Shadow King is not in nearly enough decks right now, and I don't quite understand. Right, Mobius can be any good card, but I'd start with Armor or Cosmo. I understand that you're running Shang, so like you have to be careful with them. So it's matchup dependent, just like you're not playing Mobius in every matchup. You wouldn't be playing Armor or Cosmo in every matchup. You play Armor with priority to ruin some Death players' day. I've seen enough ongoing stuff that I know, like, if I can read where they're going to Surfer, Cosmo is going to do a lot of damage. That kind of thing. Turn other things, Annihilus Sentry Hood are flavor. They could easily be Shuri, Red Skull, and Taskmaster. Shuri, Red Skull, and Taskmaster are probably better. In that with Zabu, you can go Shuri on 3, Sentry on 4, and then you can just copy that with your Taskmaster. You could also conceivably at that point do Blade. So like what I think is insanely powerful, you can go just on 4, right? If you can get rid of Red Skull, you can go Shuri Blade instead of Shuri Red Skull, and that Blade is now can't be destroyed, can have its price reduced. So like you probably have priority, and then if you have priority with the change to Eliath, your Taskmaster is just going to go off, and now you had an unkillable Shard, and now you have an unkillable Taskmaster. That seems like it's really good. Although I guess be wary of the Shadow King. Oh no. Yeah. You can throw a priority or not, depending on what you think, right? Because you can pile up everything into one lane, and then you're probably gonna like lose priority, and then like you'll be revealing second, but now you're in danger of Goliath. But that's a 50-50 as far as locations go. Ooh, this seems like it's pretty freaking strong. Like bluntly, this feels like it's pretty freaking strong. The other version feels like it's pretty freaking strong too. But Eva is one of the top 10 players in the game, so like don't sleep on this version. All right. So turn 1 is Hood or Black Knight. Basically, if you know you're trying to get your combo out, you get Black Knight out earlier. There's no there is a danger of Killmonger, so obviously know your matchups as best you can before you play it. But like get Black Knight out when you can, right? There's no Black Cat is what I was looking for that can like give you a 4/9 when you'd rather have something else. Turn 2 is Zabu or Black Knight. Turn 3, if Infinite can be discarded, or if you you have either Ghost Rider or Black Knight, go for it. If you have Ghost Rider and Black Knight, and if Infinite can be discarded, you've won the game. If not, Sentry or Mobius is totally fine. Turn 4, Shard if you can, or Sentry. Turn 5, Annie if Hood or Sentry. You can also add a Demon in there. Last turn is Ghost Rider and Shang-Chi or Shadow King. And if you want to go Shang-Chi or Shadow King and you have Zebu out, you also have a extra energy to play a Demon. And that's how you play this deck. I need a Black Knight variant. I want that hip one in the game, but I'm going to open the Spotlight one at the end of the month, I think, if we don't get there. We've got our lovely Noir Hood, a Hip Blade, a Hip Zebu, a Hip Annihilus, a Hip Infinite, a Hip Lady Sif, a Hip Mobius, 6. Yet somehow I don't have the Hip album filled. Price gouging is obnoxious. This is the best Shadow King in the game. We've got this really cool Jacinto Ghost Rider, Art Adam Shang-Chi, which I have with a gold background, and this cool merged Sentry that I like a lot. All right, news time. The first piece of news comes from SnapFan. All of this, comes from Marvel Snap News. That's Browdet. You can find it at Marvel Snap Bugle on Twitter. He does a phenomenal job of collating every single piece of Marvel Snap News that comes out. Browdet is the real MVP and deserves your follows. I don't want my viewers to miss out on the best things he found, so once in a while we'll be doing a quick news section based on Browdet stuff. The first thing he found was that there's a new background for splits. SnapFan discovered this, and you can see it right here. Rocket Raccoon has a space background. So apparently, in addition to all the other backgrounds, the gold backgrounds, the black and whites, the all the stuff, there is a space one now. So that's pretty damn cool. I might space is going to compete with gold for my favorite of these. Next up, we have an update on the featured mystery variant. So how it's supposed to work is the table is every 12 featured mystery variants open. That's the top left thing in your shop, the one that you can click for 800 gold and you get a variant. There are 6 rare. That means your regular ass variants. 3 super rare. Okay, great. So 3 of the 1200 gold variants and 3 featured. Featured could be either, but the featured means that there's that little logo at the bottom of that icon now that correlates to one of the whatchamacallit, come on brain, that correlates to one of the albums that are out right now. So since that correlates to an album, then you have 3 of those in there. One more thing, these things don't care about what's in your shop as near as Kenteric, who works for FFG, not FFG, Jesus, I always do that, who works for Second Dinner. I used to play a FFG game, and when I'm talking quickly, it comes out sometimes. Kenteric, who works for Second Dinner, believes that it doesn't actually check your shop, so you could get the same one that's appearing in your shop right now. And sometimes that means you paid an extra 100 gold for one. It is what it is. Next up, album stuff. So first question is, are the albums permanent? And the albums are permanent additions to the game. The only other albums will be additive. So again, please don't rush. If you play long enough, especially the 700 gold variants you'll eventually get, you'll get a fair amount if you spend a little bit of the 1200 ones too. Be patient. The other thing is Ultimate, Spotlight, and Bundle variants are supposedly not ever, going to be part of an album, which is awesome. A plus decision. I wish they were less gougy with this overall, but that it's not Ultimate, Spotlight, or Bundle variants is a very good thing because those are extremely hard to get. Next up, we have Twitch drops coming from December 20th through January 2nd. I believe that's 12 days, 14 days. I don't know, whatever. Math days. 13 days, whatever. Watch 2 hours to get 65 random boosters. That's nonsense. like random boosters are one of the most useless things in the game. 4 hours, 350 credits. Again, whatever. That's better than the boosters, but whatever. And then 6 hours for the Misty variant. I watch my friends' streams. If you need some streams to watch, let me know. I will give you someone to your taste in the comments. But um, I don't know, like 6 hours for mystery variants is not as good as what they usually do. Still, it's better than nothing. So hey, free is good. I'm down. Next up, we have a new reward track. Reward tracks are basically what you get for spending cash in Marvel Snap. It's on the Newverse site. Basically, you can, if you bought the season pass, you have this Black Cat avatar and the 250 credits, and then you have to spend more money to get more stuff. Up to a Miles Morales, that's a pretty cool Miles. Um, am I gonna get there? I don't know. Maybe I'm probably gonna end up buying the gold bundle because I already used the like I bought 100 gold thing from the shop. So I'm probably gonna buy the gold bundle that we reviewed earlier. Sorry, I guess technically it's a Black Bolt bundle, but it's really a gold bundle for me. I don't like that Black Bolt very much. So I'll probably end up getting most of the way there just with that purchase, and that's where we are. Where there's also 14 consecutive days of daily login rewards that they're calling Winterverse. More details will happen closer to December 20th. That's cool. No one has answered whether they're still going to talk about series shops before the end of the year. I believe they're going to. I believe that's going to be fairly close to before the next patch that they reveal that. All right, our last deck for the day is Ratsou's Long Walk. Ratsou is an excellent player and graphic designer, just in case anyone cares, um, who plays really, really unique and interesting decks, and I'm really happy I follow him because this is very cool. So this deck is a okay. Before we talk about the deck, I lost 16 straight cubes. I'm very tired. You longtime viewers, I'm not going to go through my life again, but I had a lot on my plate, right? I'm playing while I'm watching TV and hanging out with my wife, and she's like scolding me for not paying enough attention to the TV. And I lose 8 cubes because I forgot that Elsa didn't work in different lanes now. Okay, so I play another game. I lost the exact same way, and I had no such excuse. I just like my muscle memory on Elsa, and like I was ready to report a bug. I screenshotted it and everything. I was like, why would that demon not get +2 power? +2 power would have won me the game there because Elsa wasn't in that lane. And I've spent a bajillion games of playing Elsa the other way, and my muscle memory was wrong. So I lost 16 cubes in 2 games. And then I went and played a Phoenix Force deck and won 8 back. And then I felt good enough to do this video. Um, I don't know. Miserable. Okay, cool. So this is a Kitty Pride deck in that, like, it's not a Kitty Shuri deck really, unless you get like go off. There is a playline that we're not going to focus on that goes like Forge Kitty, um, sorry, Kitty, Forge Kitty, Elsa Kitty, and then like you drop like a Jeff there and you keep kidding, then you go Shuri Kitty, and then you can like try and win with Arrow, Gamora, Vision, or Shang their thing and win with a Kitty. Totally reasonable playline. That wins a fair number of games of Marvel Snap. Fine. Like you get Kitty reasonably big that way. It's not the main plan for the deck. Um, although if you get America on Kitty, I might try it anyway. Just as like that the lulz, the old school kittiness. What you actually win on here usually is you get a decent sized kitty, and then you go Shuri into Vision or Arrow. If it's Arrow or Gamora that you Shuri though, you can go Spider that away to like win a different lane, and then you can play another decent sized card. You can go like Shang and Kitty to win the game, and then their Shang just hits air because like they're like, I got an 18 power arrow to destroy. No, you don't. This jukes power really, really great because Kitty is power in random places. Ghost Spider means power wherever you want. Elsa randomly is pumps. America is a pump that they can't see, but you can. And Jeff is really hard to predict. So it's got all these different ways to juke power. So first, Ghost Spider is non-negotiable. Kitty 2 has to be in this deck or it's not this deck. I think Elsa's fine as Hulkbuster. Um, works just as well with Kitty. It gives you another big body that you can Ghost Spider way. Like it, I just think it's good. Jeff is whatever's good. If I didn't have Jeff, I'd try Shadow King first. And same idea for Mobius. Like any good stuff card is fine for Mobius. Mobius is here again because Loki didn't suddenly stop existing. Although I haven't seen it a lot. Have you guys seen Loki a lot? Other thing to let me know in the comments besides whatever questions you have. Let me know if you guys are seeing a lot of Loki, because I'm not. All right. Day 1 Infinite, Juke 'em. Turn 1 Kitty. Turn 2 Forge Kitty is better than Elsa, is better than America, is better than Jeff. Turn 3, see above, I'd rather play almost any turn 2 play. But I could also Mobius if either I have like a dream dimension that's annoying, or if I think they're gonna play Loki, or they're playing Beast, or they're playing Sarah, or you know the cards Mobius stops. If I think they're playing one of those, then Mobius. Turn 4 Shuri. Turn 5 Vision, Arrow, or Gamora. You can Vision, it just means that like they know you're gonna move it. And then turn 6 Go Spiderway, Arrow, or Gamora as needed, and either Shang or Kitty or Gamora or Arrow. Cool. So you can drop your reasonably sized Kitty, and then you can drop Gamora or Arrow with it, or you can drop Shang with it. Now, other thing you could do is if you play whatever, let's say you double up your Gamora, you have this giant Gamora, you can go Spider that away, right? And then you can, if you have priority, oh no, you can't Arrow their unrevealed Shang. That's so sad. There goes that play. Whatever. What you can do is you can go Spider that Gamora away, and then you can play Arrow mid or wherever, right? Arrow into that lane, and Arrow's 9, so it ducks under Shang now. Cool. Arrow is worse, but still a good card, just because moving the opponent's stuff is good. Remember that Arrow works differently, whether you have priority or not. If you do have priority, she's pulling the last card they played last turn. If you don't have priority, she's playing the last card they played this turn. I think she's probably better with priority to be. I like the idea of knowing what I'm doing with her, but there's going to be cases where both are true. Quick variant look. We've got our Peach Momoko, Ghost Spider, and Shang-Chi. I actually don't remember who made this Kitty Pride, but I really do like it the more I look at it. We've got a hip Elsa, a hip Jeff, a hip Mobius, a hip Vision. So 4 hip. This is our low hips for the day. I wanted to feature America Chavez. Turns out she's a decent card. She's not like great, but she's a decent card. I like this Arrow a fair amount. This Gamora's from a season pass. X-Force Forge. I really hope I get to buy the Hellfire Gala one soon. Black Panther Kitty Black Panther Shuri remains the best Shuri in the game. That's the variance here. Finally, my shop for the day. For the second day in a row, I've got the Venomized. I don't like Venomized variants, folks. I know a lot of you do, but I do not. The Venomized is my premium mystery. If I had Hip, I might buy some premium mystery variants just because I like Hip variants that much. But I bought this Shaw. His face is a little icky, but I feel like I really, really like the swirling energy around him, so I went with this Shaw. I was very close to buying this Magneto. What happens when you split this Magneto is all that changes, like all that gets the gold background, for example, is the color of the pool, and it looks great. And it's a really great Magneto, but I have 3 really great Magnetos, and the Jim Lee Magneto is probably better. The white Magneto from Krakoa era is my current favorite. But there's also like Mech one where he's basically controlling a giant mech because, mass magnetism. And of course, my beloved Dan. Hey, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you. You made it this long. Got a sub. We do this every day. We'll see you again tomorrow with another Snap Take. Starting that giveaway, no doubt.